that was not far from the President's Palace, I think, along the Nile, Blue Nile. But it then moved, of course, to the new museum in Khartoum. So everything that I found is in Khartoum. It should be there. So I belong to this UNESCO mission, and we were 3 people only. And we set up a kind of documentation office in Wadi Halfa, in the museum there. We had a lot of air photographs made over the area. And we also coordinated all the work of all the other expeditions. And my colleague, Professor Adams, was there and did a tremendous contribution to the history of Nubia. His wife, they had a little kid there, Ernest. He's now a computer expert in Dallas or something like that. So that's how it works. That's a slightly younger picture of me than what you see today. I was always involved in pottery, and I always admired the Nubian pottery from the beginning. And that became my speciality, you can say. And here's a picture of the excavations also. Moving sand was very important to get down to the details of the sites. Excavated graves, many graves here. We had also help of a few experts from Egypt called Koftis. Here's the best of them all, Yusuf. That was my race work for me. I am also specialized in a culture called the Nubian A group. I have no better name for it. It was the first culture in Nubia with settlements, with some house remains, with cemeteries, many cemeteries, and that flourished 5,000 years ago. So that culture, what I have found out now, had many connections, both with Egypt in the north and also with the central Sudan and the deserts around too. And we have a lot of material from the burials. Here to the left is a woman with a lot of pottery and a grinding tool there, big board, grinding stone, a palette of stone, bracelet of ivory, and other pots too, lots of pottery. Here's a man, another cemetery, with the cap of leather on the head, some pottery over there. They look like that when we find them in the graves. They're broken, of course, but we put them together. A palette too, and also a fan of ostrich feathers on the breast, on the chest here. So I have excavated and analyzed all these sort of graves, burials, and cemeteries and so on from the Nubian A group 5,000 years ago, and found out that there was a very, very interesting development in that culture. They became rich from trade between Egypt and the south. They traded probably gold and ivory and wood and many, many other things. In the end, they were so powerful, so the Egyptian kings, the early kings of Egypt, had to decide to go down and sort of finish them. So they more or less disappeared, this culture. But we have found remains of it out in the desert instead. The finds are beautiful. Early copper tools, and gold objects here, spoon of ivory, for instance, necklaces of carnelian and ivory, beautiful pottery. This pottery has nothing to do with Egypt. It is their own invention and their own culture. So the Nubian A group didn't only flourish at the river. Now we have found that it's extended like that. There is a core, and there is also a very, very large periphery. I think when they couldn't be settled any longer because of the Egyptians, they became pastoralists instead, out in the deserts. And the climate was a little bit better then. The Scandinavian joint expedition to Sudanese Nubia was there 4 seasons, between 61 and 64. And we were very many participants from the Scandinavian countries, Nordic countries, from Denmark, from Finland, from Norway and Sweden. And here are some of the best archaeologists at that time from these countries excavating in Nubia. And here's the leading figure of it, Professor Sebbe Söderberg, the late Professor Sebbe Söderberg, who was my boss also later on when I worked with this expedition. The collections found by the Scandinavian Joint Expedition is, of course, the best part of it is in Khartoum, in the National Museum in Khartoum. But we have also a lot of remains in Denmark, a lot of pottery from the New Kingdom in Finland, a lot of the late Nubian finds in Norway. In Sweden we have more of the early parts of early cultures of Nubia, and also the main archives of the expedition. And at the British Museum in the United Kingdom we have some finds too. If you have seen, they have a big Nubian room in the British Museum nowadays. And we have some material exhibited there too. And here's the Nubian collections in Uppsala, put in order by myself, and it's also available for all research scholars all over the world. And they're coming to this place, studying the Nubian material. Very many. And I talked to the Sudan authorities, to the Director General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, and he, Hassan Hussein, his name is, and he said that you must keep the Nubian collections in your country, because we have no place, not now, to get them back. Because I'm always asking him, do you want the collections back to Nubia, to the Sudan? I have nothing against that. But these are considered to be a gift from the Sudan to Sweden. So gifts are not returned. But the facilities are there, and everybody is welcome to see these things. After the big campaign of Nubia that ended in, you can say, 65, 66, 67, the water came. It was impossible to excavate there. A lot of expeditions continued their work in the south part of Nubia, in Kerma, on Sinai Island. And I'm not going to tell you everything about that, but only to take 2 places, Kerma and Sinai. So Kerma, located here to the south of the 3rd cataract, and in the northern part, one can say, of Dongola Reach, had been excavated since long by a Swiss expedition led by Professor Charles Bonnet. And I can perhaps go back to that now.